it is a bit hard. It is a bit hard when we talk about acting in sane ways, when we see Kamala Harris essentially sloshed, and one anchor from the media saying that the Holocaust was created by I'm not gonna lie. I'm not making this up. That the Holocaust was made by free speech, and one grifter, that they are all competing by the insane clip of the day. I don't know if this is gonna be a thing for the rest of my shows, but today we have three contenders for peak insanity. The first one is Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris attended a Broadway show in New York City on Saturday and reminded everyone about her word salad and how lucky we are that she isn't in the White House. This always make us feel good. This always make us feel good. Let's listen to Kamala, what she was saying.
Oh my goodness. I don't get out much these days.
Oh my God! This what?
I don't get out much these days.
Oh no! This is beyond slosh, man. Listen to this. I haven't watched this clip, by the way. I'm reacting to this with you.
I don't get out much these days.
What? What are you saying, girl? I don't understand you. I don't understand what you're saying. This is like, how many Hennessy's do you have? How many?
And but spirit's tired, but you cannot be.
The spirits are tired. The spirits are tired of dealing with you.
Defeated. Never let anybody defeat that. Because then what do we have left? When we think about like these moments where we see things that are being taken, but also let's see it as nature abhors a vacuum. So where there's a vacancy, then let's fill it. Right? And let's know that the reality is that the progress of our nation has always been about the expansion of rights, not the restriction of rights.
No, you have to imagine Kamala Harris as president of the United States. Really imagine the fork in the time-space continuum that we experience, thanks to somebody suggesting Elon Musk to buy Twitter, and that got us here. And imagine that didn't happen, and we got Kamala Harris POTUS going for a NATO meeting or something like that she's speaking like this in front of people, like completely flushed because she is nervous and she had to, hit the spirits. Let's hit the spirits, because the spirits are the ones who is not ayahuasca but Hennessy that helps her, have some kind of being eloquent for this stuff. My God, this is quite a bullet that we dodged.
It's always been about the expansion of rights, not the restriction of rights. We're seeing a U-turn right now. For those rights to be maintained, which means we have to be vigilant, and it's just the nature of it. Look at this beautiful play and everything that we know he was suppressed. He had to suppress so much. But he knew, and he took those risks. But we have to be clear-eyed, and it doesn't mean we don't see the beauty in everything, right?
Yeah, right. Yes, she's. I for one, I'm glad that she could, retire for a bit, recharge energy. That would have been too much for her. That would have been too much for the world, in fact. So yes, it's that everybody's happy right now. Is we are happy, and we see some faces in the crowd that are saying, "Is she drunk?" Yeah, man, I can guarantee you, the lady is sloshed. It's what is the other? Hammered. That is the other. The other adjective is, or verb, I don't remember. The other word that I like to use for
and it doesn't mean we don't see the beauty in everything, right? These things all coexist. But I believe we fight for something, not against something.
Yeah, blaster, absolutely, Jenny. Blaster is another word that I use.
Right. And that's our optimism, right?
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.
No, again, I think that everybody has the right for some privacy, and I think Kamala has the right for some privacy. And why would you record this if she looks so bad? It's like this lack of self-awareness. I don't know if the people who are recording this are pro or against Kamala. Even it's like Kamala is out of the question right now. There's no reason to do this. It's already came out, so I'm just talking about this because, well, I'm that kind of guy. I need to address this because so many of you have requested. But man, why nobody light a match? Yeah, we're gonna have we're gonna have a full firestorm in here just from the well, the spirits. I'm not gonna say the word, but we have a competitor. We have a competitor in insanity in this Margaret. Do you remember Margaret? You remember Margaret, right? From I don't really care, Margaret, when J.D. Vance said those words. And it seems that Margaret really wants to become famous or infamous in any way, shape, or form. And she said, well, that essentially the Holocaust was made by or created by or pushed by free speech, if that makes sense. And, well, you can see that when she said that, Marco Rubio had the only face that you can have in that circumstances. So let's watch this.
Well, he was standing in a country where free speech was weaponized to conduct a genocide.
Okay, free speech was weaponized to conduct a genocide. I mean, I have heard imbecile combinations of words in other times of my life, but in, let's say that a few of those cases, I got actual, I felt actual pity for the person. And I really feel pity for Margaret. What is this?
And he met with the head of a political party that has far-right views and some historic ties to extreme groups.
My admiration to Marco Rubio for not interrupting her. Maybe he said, well, she said that crazy stuff. Maybe she's going to say crazier stuff down the line. So I need to pick the craziest stuff to react to, right?
The context of that was changing the tone of it. And you know that the censorship was specifically about...
He had to interrupt because, yeah, you're going full Kamala. You never go full Kamala. I don't understand what is your point. So let's, and you could say, Jesus, but you're lacking the context of the whole clip. There's no way. Again, context can help sometimes. There's no context that can fix that the Holocaust, that the genocide in World War II was created by free speech, but by the weaponization of free speech. That doesn't make sense in any way. That's like trying to make Americans feel that, oh yeah, free speech can be weaponized, free speech can be a bad thing. That sounds like Europe, and we're going to be talking about Europe and specifically Germany in a minute.
The right.
No, I have to disagree with you. Free speech was not used to conduct a genocide. The genocide was conducted by an authoritarian Nazi regime that happened to also be genocidal because they hated Jews and they hated minorities and they hated those that they had a list of people they hated, but primarily the Jews. There was no free speech in Nazi Germany. There was none. There was also no opposition in Nazi Germany. They were a sole and only party that governed that country. So that's not an accurate reflection of history. I also think it's wrong. Again, I go back to the point of his speech. Okay, the point of his speech was basically that there is an erosion in free speech and intolerance for opposing points of view within Europe.
Now you're getting the point, right? That they are talking about Vance's speech to the EU and the UK and how he, well, essentially ripped them a new one to each other, to the UK and the EU. And essentially, if you block free speech, you're blocking democracy. And if you are pushing for immigration, unfettered immigration, you're also eroding democracy and, well, the one being of your constituents as well. And they are trying to, how could Vance say that? And we're going to see European politicians crying, like literally crying, like shedding tears over this, that they were harmed by this. And the mainstream media, Margaret in this case, she's competing for the most imbecile remark of the day, even more imbecile of whatever Kamala was trying to say at the end of that play, saying that, oh no, yes, it's said because free speech can be weaponized, because it was actually weaponized in World War II, and that's what caused the Holocaust. How is my question? How can you have that string of thoughts? How can you connect those ideas in the way that maybe she thinks, or maybe she believes that her audience is that stupid, that if you say that, oh, free speech and weaponization and Holocaust, maybe if I say this big words one after another, then people will say that that's a problem. They literally think their audience is stupid. And if you watch mainstream media, like 2 or 3 hours a day, you will become stupid. That is a fact.
And that's of concern, because that is eroding. It's not an erosion of your military capabilities. That's not an erosion of your economic standing. That's an erosion of the actual values that bind us together in this transatlantic union that everybody talks about. And I think allies and friends and partners that have worked together now for 80 years should be able to speak frankly to one another in open forums without being offended, insulted, or upset. And I spoke to foreign ministers from multiple countries throughout Europe. Many of them probably didn't like the speech or didn't agree with it, but they were continuing to engage with us on all sorts of issues that unite us.
This is as simple as, if you have a friend and you have a childhood friend and you see that your childhood friend is doing doing stupid things, like he's saying, hey, I want to try ayahuasca. I really want to try and go on this ayahuasca trips. And you know that there's a 90% possibility that he's gonna fry his brain, and only 10% of people like really survive and are enlightened by an ayahuasca trip. You have to tell your friend, no, you should not go and for that ayahuasca trip. You have to stop your friend, and you have to, maybe your friend is hurting himself in some way. Maybe your friend is acting in a self-destructive way, and even if you know that you're gonna upset your friend, you have the duty to tell your friends, as Vance did as Vice President of the United States, telling the UK and the EU, the European Union, you are in this suicidal empathy downward spiral. I can use big words as well. Suicidal empathy downward spiral, and you're destroying yourselves. They became all of this trigger about this. But yes, then you have the mainstream media. You have Margaret claiming that, yes, it's a free speech. Too much free speech can be a bad thing. Because free speech, well, yada. You know what's wrong with free speech? We have a third contender for this competition between it's only Kamala, which is, she's a seasoned contender in terms of a word salad. And Margaret, she's making herself a name, surely, very slowly but surely. We also have this. I didn't know about this lady like 2 weeks ago. Lindy Li. She is trying desperately to pass that she's with Trump. She is, all for Trump, and yes, how Trump is good. Let's make Trump great again. Excited to help ensure Republicans expand our majority in the House and Senate for the coming midterms. I'm taking my donors from the DNC and giving them to the RNC instead. We love our country and just want President Trump to succeed. Oh, emoji of American flag. No. Wait a second. This lady is a grifter. And I'm sad to say that Dinesh D'Souza, real James Woods, and this other guy, what's his name? I forgot his name. He's around here. Glenn Beck as well. All of them have fallen for the grift, because this lady, like 2 minutes ago, was saying things like, let me see, She called Trump a serial rapist, which is, of course, grossly inaccurate and is defamation. We already thought it is. And she already said, Trump is showing signs of dementia. He has been reported to defecate in public. He rambles incoherently for hours. She also has said, Trump has a long and documented history of defecating in his diapers. How are these people? How are these conservatives? Can't just make an X search. Lindy Li, search for Trump, just the word Trump, and see her tweets from barely months ago. She did a complete 180. She realized that the Democrat Party is dying, that the money from the Democrat Party is drying, so she has to jump ship. But this is the kind of people that we need to expose. Oh, Kamala Harris accepted the outcome of the election. She will ensure a peaceful transfer of power. She will not terrorize Congress in a fit of rage. She will not smear feces on our Capitol. She will not assault police. Congratulating Trump was hard as F, but the right thing to do. That is a woman who doesn't like Trump. That she has seen the writing of the wall. This was the day after the elections, and she realized, I need to change my rhetoric, and that's why I don't understand why these figures of, let's say the right of conservatives have given her, embrace her with open arms. That is stupid. That is plain stupid. She said in June 2023, why does Robert F. Kennedy Jr. push his anti-vaccine lies so hard? Because he makes a shit ton of money, $60 million a year. Why does Trump push the big lie so hard? Because he makes a shit ton of money, $250 million to be exact. So it's, again, you can have an opinion. We were talking about free speech. It's great that you have an opinion. It's great that you can express yourself about Trump. You can even defame Trump if you want to risk being sued by Trump. And Trump must have Disney-grade attorneys to sue your ass. But don't tell me that now you are all for Trump. Trump is inciting, was from August 2023. Trump is inciting stochastic terrorism against Fannie Willis, Judge Chutkan, Alvin Bragg, Tish James, all of whom are bravely holding him accountable, all of whom are black. This is all facts. Number one, Trump directly caused the death of Ashley Babbitt. Number two, Babbitt was a domestic terrorist. This lady said all this, and you have people like, this is Glenn Beck, right? Let me see. Cernovich I saw this from Cernovich. Can someone please explain to me why Glenn Beck and other so-called conservatives are promoting someone who is anti-Trump, smear conservatives, but suddenly is rebranding? Are we really doing this, promoting fakes who claim to be moderate bullshit all over again? And people have been telling me on X, because, well, you're free to reply to me on X. Oh, but she's calling out Biden's dementia. Well, I have provided the screenshots, and every time somebody has replied to me, they don't reply with screenshot. And please, so reply to me with screenshots of she attacking Biden, and let's see if it's as vicious as with Trump. But the question is, it's not that she attacked Biden at some point. It's that she was very vicious and even defamatory towards Trump. And now she wants to rebrand herself. And that is maybe not stupid, maybe not slosh, but yeah, that is in bad faith. That is the things these are the things that we need to call out. Let's say that from these three examples today, Kamala is the most innocent of all. But I would like to know what they think about this in the comments, because, well, this is hard, man. This is hard.